this journey we'll guide inside the ride where we fly. Virtual roads touch the sky. Join us here, don't be shy. Inside the ride, yeah, we hide.
Welcome back to Inside the Ride by MyWhoosh. I'm your host, or one of your hosts today, Cy Bradley. This is episode 16. Can you believe it? Episode 16 already. Just a reminder, of course, we are an audio and video podcast. So if you're listening on Spotify or iTunes and you've not seen the video content yet, then go and check out the MyWhoosh YouTube channel. You're going to find, of course, all the podcasts there. You're going to find other content as well, like race coverage, how-to videos, all that good stuff. Also, if you do go and check out the YouTube version of this show, you're going to see what a disparity we've got between my studio environment and co-host Matt Smithson in your big yellow chair, Matt, there. The studio is still rocking it from the Tadej and Peter show.
I think this is the chair Tadej sat on. Oh, no, he was on the lounge, wasn't he? Yeah. I probably should have sat on that. I haven't been back on since that. That was a bit hard to replicate, so I've hidden from these for a couple of months now.
Yeah, that was it was back in October, of course, when the Worlds were. You've been travelling, you've been busy, you've been working on these new updates that we're going to talk about later in the show. You've been pretty full gas, Matt.
Yeah, it's been really full on the last little while. It's been up and down, if that makes sense. So we've had a lot of, a little bit of come down after the UCI World Championships, which were, as we know, a great success. And then a bit of a break back in Australia, a little bit more travel to Pakistan for a wedding of one of the guys here. But lots of work and planning for the future. Lots of things to talk about today. We've got, lots of things about, new releases, plans for next year, SRC. There's a lot going on, a lot of plans. We've started to work on the UCI routes for next year. There's so much happening at the moment, and the year's just about finished.
I know, it's amazing. It just really has run in every respect, Matt. I just think since the Worlds, things were really ramping up anyways. We're getting into sort of this Northern Hemisphere winter, but every part of the platform, every part of the team just seems to be ramping up and getting busier and busier as well. As you know, we hosted the first sort of regular elimination race last night, Matt, which was phenomenal. I couldn't race because we got, it's that time of year, right, where we've got kids nativity plays and things like that. But I had it on the phone at the same time. 45 riders raced that first elimination last night as well. And thanks to everyone that did, and thank you to everyone that gave the feedback. It's really interesting. I think generally it's really positive. One little niggle, we've got the elimination banner that comes out right across the centre of the screen. So this is why it's called the elimination beta racing, right? Because still in beta technically now, we want that feedback on the event. Generally very positive. We're going to shift that banner up that when it says that everyone behind position 20 or whatever is going to get eliminated, so you can actually see the riders in front. But it's those little things that you don't realise until you get it on the screen and you're racing in front of you, right? But yeah, really appreciate it. And those might are going to happen, because I know you've been asking me, when's the elimination coming? Those are happening every Monday now. Okay. Monday, 6 p.m. UK time, so 7 o'clock, I think it is. It's either 6 or 6:30. We'll check. We'll put it on screen anyway, and we'll get it up there. But every Monday, and Matt, hopefully we see you there.
Yeah, it's a bit late here. It's 9 or 10 o'clock, I think. And plus,
right,
I don't want to wait up all that time and get eliminated on the first lap. What course did you do it on?
We did it on the UCI Stage 1 because I think it's right now, it's one of the shortest routes that we've got in game. And obviously, it's virtually planned. It's like 1.7 kilometres. 10 laps it was as well, 17 kilometres there or thereabouts anyway. And it was pretty ferocious.
It works as a percentage of the riders are eliminated each lap. That's right, isn't it? And we can set that to 5%, 10%, 20%, whatever we want.
The team are doing a great job at the back end there. So the way it's set up is we can pick a percentage each lap. So I think last night we just chose 10% of the field every lap for 10 laps, and then the final 10 riders, which is what happened, sprinted it out for the last lap last night for those top positions as well. Like I say, a couple of things. We're going to move that banner. I saw some of the wording that said something like place 24 and below will be eliminated, or it said something like 24 below will get eliminated. I'm like, is that position 24 included or not? Just those little learnings that you take, and you only find out the heat of battle as such. But
we should bring
really
the police drone in. And the police
Yeah,
drone
we've
could take
requested
them out.
that.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah, that's in there as part of that update.
Okay.
So, but then were people like, well, but I want to watch what happens in the race. So we want to take people out of the race, but then there's still a way that you could watch. So hopefully that eyeball icon that means that you can spectate is still there if you do get removed. That's just, again, those little things. But the racing was pretty cool. And what I did like as well, because my fear was that there'd be a couple of really strong boys or girls in there who just go from the gun, create the gap and stay out comfortably. But they didn't. Everyone played nice and kept it as a bunch and kept it as that sort of sprint for the line each time that you normally get on a track. So, yeah, it was really fun to watch. I'm kind of glad looking at some of the numbers that I wasn't racing because it had been a tough workout.
That's great. And look, something that's coming is we've got obviously Super Tri and Indoor World Championships for triathlon coming. And there's a lot of work going into the course design at the moment. And I believe, and I don't think I'm speaking out of turn here, we've got a 2-kilometre circuit for the ride and a 1-kilometre circuit that we've got for the run for that event. So I've ensured that those designs can cross over to elimination races. And whilst I'm not sure on this, we're a long way away from the UCI World Championships this year or in 2025, I'd be surprised if we don't end up with some form of an elimination stage this year. It's good fun. It's fun bike racing, right? And that's what we're all about.
Yeah, absolutely. I say that you've got the chase racing, the elimination race, some other formats that we've been discussing as well in terms of once we get these point systems built now, and of course we've got the point system that we built for that UCI event. It's amazing what we can do. And the other thing with that as well, just think about when Monday night we've got this elimination. Tuesday night we've got plenty of coaching sessions going on Tuesday. Wednesday seems to become this night of like peak racing on MyWhoosh and I'm saying MyWhoosh now instead of MyWhoosh because I've spending more time with you and I'm trying to get into the rhythm of this. But yeah, we've got this Polish racing league which is kicked off with they've been getting great riders. The Colombian league, and then we've got Team Evolve on a Wednesday night, and they're all getting great numbers as well. So yeah, we've sort of really turned the corner. Things are really developing on the racing side now.
Look, it's across the whole platform, things have really ramped up. Like, without going into the detail on numbers, the increase in just the user base in the last 6 months it's astronomical. We've come into the season. The game is fantastic. It's good fun. The updates we'll talk about today will make it even more, I think, community friendly. Some things that are happening in the future are going to take it even to the next level again. So there's lots of things happening. Personally, I'd like to see a points race one night on that UCI circuit. So maybe we look at a Thursday night or something like that for a points race that we can maybe start to introduce. We've got the point system, some things like that, keep it a bit different. And I like the fact that they're sort of we're aiming those nights at things. It's not just a million events spread out all the time. Everyone says, the Polish event's on tonight or the Colombian event, or Monday night we've got the points, we've got the elimination race. Sundays become SRC day. We used to have Tune Up Tuesday. We've got a bit away from that, but all those things can come back. So it'd be nice to sit at home and just go, I can have a league with 45, 50, 100 people in it. It's going to be a hard race. And away we go. So if we can define those nights, I think that's a really good way forward for us.
Yeah, and that's something you and I discussed, I think, when, early on there that, and I think I said this in a previous show, right? One of our goals is we want to support the community. We're a community platform there as well.
Yep.
And again, that's what's really changed the game, I think, is the community are really starting to add these events and developing these systems. We've got the coalition crew doing their thing on a Saturday morning, which is that Tune Up Tuesday format where it's points for the banners for the fastest through and first across the line at the finish line. And again, you can see those points on, and those results on MyWhoosh.com. You can also find those on MyWhoosh info. Just thinking about that Colombian league and that the Polish league and Team Evolve, and even James with these OTR events now as well. We had James on last week's show. If you want to go and listen to that they're starting to get the point systems built, but they're being hosted in one central place.
Yep.
Which I think is really making a difference as well. Of course, you can find those on the MyWhoosh Indoor Cycling group, but now we're starting to get this place where this is where you go for the results, whether it be points racing, scratch racing, whatever it might be, is really, really cool.
Yeah. Look, I go a funny story. As most people know, I haven't been riding as much as I should last little while, but I've been back the last week or two, and I jumped on the other morning to a 7 a.m. Easy recovery roll or something it was called. Because as you know, I don't do the events anymore. I don't pay a lot of attention to what's in there apart from I know the team have put this stuff together. And when I came into work, I'm like, you guys have done an awesome job on those bots. They rode just like I do, except they weren't bots. I looked at the results and there was 32 people in the event and I was riding with other players. So there's so many changes, even in the little limited time. I haven't really been riding the platform as much as what I used to do. So it's just amazing to see what's happening. The community are jumping on board and we're getting great results.
Yeah, absolutely. The other thing I wanted to mention as well is the live coaching. We've got a lot more coaches coming on from different time zones as well in the next month or so. But the one new coach which is kicking off, and this will be important to you because I know you're from the Southern Hemisphere and you're from Australia. So this is an Australian coach that we've got. She's actually based in New Zealand now, but her name is Annalisa Hull. And as a junior, she went to Worlds. I know she's medalled at Worlds and different games in the past as well. So really talented athlete, but also a really, really talented coach there. So yeah, she's going to be starting with us pretty soon. In fact, she starts tomorrow, this Wednesday, whatever the date will be, the 18th, is it? Wednesday the 18th. Yep. So that hopefully for our sort of Southern Hemisphere riders, that's going to fill a few time zones. And then we've got 3 or 4 US coaches all starting, I think, the week after Christmas as well. So that schedule is really going to start ramping up. I've not seen you in any of those sessions for a while either, because I know you've been busy, but you might. I'm hoping we're going to see more of you riding, because I did see that you did SRC this weekend, so you must be doing something.
I did, but I've decided I need to start again. Let's just say we're not as healthy as we should be. Even Alan, that produces part of the show, I came back into work the other week and he goes, "Geez, you're looking old." So it's time to do something about it.
Brutal.
Yeah. Alan and I are not friends anymore. But I'll be back to starting again, did SRC. But before we jump into that, my excitement of the week in cycling was the live Tadej ride that we did. Now, for those people that missed it, Tadej came on like a live coach. We just did a rubber-banded free ride, 30 minutes. We didn't know how it would go or how many people we'd get. We got about 300 people jumped on with Tadej. Tadej come back from a 180-kilometre ride, jumped in 10 seconds before the start, and he starts riding, and I'm sure he wasn't sure what was going on either, to be honest. And people are just firing questions in the chat, and after a couple of minutes, he's like, you could see how much fun he was having talking about the questions, talking about races, talking about his bikes. He talked about the new Colnago, which is fantastic. I don't know its code name, but not sure whether the jury's still out on that one, but I'm sure they'll look better in the flesh. And he talked about, his favourite race, his favourite climbs, his type of music, some of the stuff that we talked about. I know you were part of it as well. And my wife and I got off and I said, I know I work here, but that's the best ride I've ever done in my whole life.
The coolest thing you've ever done.
Yeah.
Right? Yeah.
And Tadej was in my lounge room. And because the questions were from our community who are bike riders, they were the questions that I was sitting there waiting to type and ask. So I'm going to commit to this. In the new year, we're going to have more of those style of rides. I'm going to put a plan together with the team that you'll certainly be a part of, Si, where we start to identify some current pros, male and female, retired pros, whether it's in triathlon, whether it's in cycling, whether it's in different things, and try to have them minimum monthly, if not more often. Because I think it's great these days that we see people's Instagram, we see people's, whether it's Facebook or all the things old men like me get on. But to have that person there talking in their personality, and Tadej's personality really came through in that. So I couldn't sleep. It was that much fun. And I've seen some of the comments from people about it, and everybody felt the same. And it's like, where else do I get to ride with this guy? But secondly, even if I do get to jump on the back of the UAE Team Emirates ride that they're in Spain at the moment, I think, doing a training camp, I don't get to ride up and ask Tadej and hear the answers to these questions. It was just cool.
It was, right? Funny story. I was sat here in my cycling kit, and then I got the producer who was with Tadej in my ear for this, this live ride. And the other thing, Matt, as well, before I tell that story, actually, I'm convinced people still don't know what the live functionality is, right? And we recorded a few videos in the last couple of days, as you know. People don't realise that this isn't like ride-alongs they've ever seen before, where it's text on a screen. And you know what? It could be someone else actually typing those things in. You see, you hear them on the screen while you're riding along this virtual world. And what was really cool for me as well, I was sat here in kit, but I was meant to be feeding the questions that came through because we weren't sure whether Tadej would see them on the screen. So I was meant to be feeding these through to sort of Tadej's management team, who then were going to vocalize those to Tadej in the room. And then I did the first 5 or 6 questions, and it was that much of a rush because, like you said, he didn't get on till 10 seconds before. And I'm like, I couldn't get on the bike, so I'm trying to manage this with the producer. And in the end, Tadej's like, I can see the questions, I'll just read them off the screen. And that, for me, made it so much more engaging because, I mean, the questions were coming through thick and fast. But when he saw the question appear on the screen, in the regular chat that's on game, he was just responding, and that made it feel so much more personal. And I think he even wished one guy, Steve, I think his name was, happy birthday. He just wrote, can you wish me happy birthday? And he went, Steve Cairns, happy birthday today. And I'm like,
yep.
How does that ever happen anywhere else, right? And you can see him, and you could record it, and I'm like, that is so, it's cool. Just awesome.
And it shows how prepared we were. Poor Tadej's done 180k. It's cold where he was. He's got his long sleeve jersey on. No one's setting him up with a fan. If the poor bloke has a bad tour this year, we're going to get the blame for overheating him while he's rolling along. He has sweat pouring off him. He didn't give up. He did the whole half hour. Honestly, I think if we had another 15, 20 minutes, he would have kept answering questions. He was in no hurry to get out of there at all. It was. Look, no, it's a big. I actually got off and I sent a message to our head of engineering, Tanvir, and I said, mate, I know I give you a hard time, and you know this, I do all the time, trying to make the game better. But I said, mate, I can't describe to you enough to say thank you as a cyclist for what you've built for that to happen. Because that was game changing, not just for the platform, but for me. Like, I've interviewed the guy, and it was better than when we sat here and did the interview.
You just took the words out of my mouth, right? And it's not often you should say that, those terms, but I genuinely think this video live system is game changing. Not just so we could do cool things like that. And like I say, if we have this, this sort of themed events on a regular basis, cafe rides with whoever it might be in the future, that's one thing. But even, just from, I know I go on about the live coaching, but there are so many people who still don't know that I've ridden now, I coach these, but I've also ridden other sessions with other coaches. And even for me, it's so much more motivating when you've got the coach and he calls out your name through that session. I've done one with Zach and I've done one with Emma Martin in the past, and it just makes a difference. It's so much more motivating. And I hit the numbers more, and I complete those sessions, pick up those stars that you get for completing those workouts on a much more regular basis by doing those live workouts. So, yeah, I mean, it's not a hard sell because it was just super cool, right? Yeah. But if you've not tried that live coaching yet, just come and do it. It's just try one. It's so cool.
Yeah, I might even talk to you, and I might do a half-hour group ride and see how that goes for a little while. I need to get on myself and have a bit of fun with it, I think.
It's a good way of committing yourself.
Yeah, I don't think I'll do the workouts now. The FTP doesn't go under 100. But I saw Bart come in the other day, and he goes, I didn't turn the FTP down. He'd done it like 330 watts or something. And yeah, he was in a world of hurt after doing his live coaching. But numbers are growing. I hear we're getting 40, 50, 60 people to some of these now. So look, I know it sounds like we're here selling stuff, but everybody knows hopefully now that we're just people that are a bit of bike nerds. And it's just a new, cool, fun thing that you can do on your bike. But yeah, probably enough about that. What do we want to get into? SRC?
Well, one more thing I want to do, right, is I've promised, Matt, every week that we got to talk about SRC because it's our flagship event.
Yep.
So there's a couple of things I want to talk about SRC. The other thing I did promise the watchers, the listeners, whoever it might be, is I don't want to just focus on the elite. So every week, what we're going to do is we're going to go through some results from SAC. We'll go through the top 3 or the top 5, whatever it might be. I did check out, Matt, you didn't make the top 5 this week. I know that. I could see that in the results. But we're going to pick out a different category because I want to make sure we're just not focused on those elites. So there's a couple of things you want to talk about SRC, but let me just get these results out the way first. So this week, I just want to talk about the women's qualifier first of all. So it's race 3 qualifier. Is it a long month? No, the finals will be next, won't they, this one? And they'll sit in between Christmas and New Year this time around.
No, there's one this weekend and then finals. So it's a bigger month, I think, this one.
Yeah, of course it is, because we're 17th today. So one more to go and then we're into the finals. So this week we're going to focus on race 3, women Cat 4. Looks like they were in Belgium to me. I didn't watch, I have to confess, but the win was taken by Ella Vink.
Yep.
Johanna Warren was second, that Swedish rider there. Diana Corrales was third. And I also want to give the fourth place rider, Natalia Idzik there from Poland, a shout as well, because Natalia's also been involved with organising some of these Polish community events that we've seen. I've been doing the individual time trial on a Saturday morning. I know Natalia's involved in that. I know she's racing on the platform as well. And Hannah Goodall also picking up fifth. So was that 2 New Zealanders then in the top 5 with Ella and Hannah?
But you know what's cool about that is those ladies are the cyclists, and most of them make their husbands race as well. I don't think it's vice versa. So Ella's brother is Michael Vink.
Got it.
And then Mark Dadson is her husband, and Cameron Dadson's his brother or something. So they all race. So there's a big connection there. Then we've got Natalia is Mikhail Kaminsky's partner. So she makes him race Cat 1.
I'm learning.
Yep.
I'm learning.
Hannah, I think, is the wife of David. And she forces David to race. And David races 3 or 2
David
now.
Goodall, yeah.
And who else was there? There's Ola Warren. I presume that Johanna is Ola Warren's partner or daughter. So there's a big connection here. We're family in Cat 4 ladies. But I wasn't sure of the lady that ran second or third. Diana, maybe you said her name, so she might be new.
Yeah, Diana Corrales.
Right.
Yeah.
So I'm all over Cat 4 women because that's the category my wife races. So I know all about what's happening in that little group. And Ella...
you hear about what happened in the racing then?
Oh, yeah. Well, I watch it.
it.
I generally sit there with Liz while she races. But
Got it.
Ella is really hard to beat on that circuit because it's not super hilly, and Ella makes big power. But I actually think that as a true... what's the best way to put it? Everybody has a chance circuit that we have. I think Belgium for the women is the best one because they don't have to do those couple of climbs at the end that the men do, so it finishes a little bit flatter. And I know we're concentrating on Cat 4, but I think Cat 3 women had 18 or 19 ladies sprint at the end. So
yeah, actually, I spoke to who did I speak to? I spoke to Holly Bergin about that as well actually yesterday because she was super chuffed to make a top 10. Yeah, in Cat 3 as well. So yeah, it's Angela Yadlock was first in Cat 3. Catherine Montoya, Angelica, can't quite see Angelica's surname. Melissa Simkin, and then Aline Francisco was fifth there. So but all like within less than a second.
Yeah, it was a big bunch sprint.
In fact, down to 10th was within 2 seconds. Yeah. That's amazing.
Yeah. No, that circuit's really good. It's quite fun to watch the racing on that one. But yeah, look, the Cat 4 ladies and the Cat 4 men are getting bigger and bigger each week as well. You know, we've got some people going up and down in those categories along the way. And yeah, it's been good fun. I jumped out there this week. Category 4 men, either I've got unfitter or it's got a lot harder. They went out of the gate that hard. I'm like, you know, when you do something, I don't know about you when you're racing, but I was getting angry. Like, why are these blokes going so fast? What's happening here? Like, they're all cheating. And, like, this is in my head. It's like, these guys are all sandbagging. They're all Cat 2 riders. This is ridiculous. I can't hang on here. Something's wrong with my trainer. Something's wrong with the game. This is me. And then I got off and I looked at my numbers. I know exactly why I got dropped. And I know exactly why it was so hard. My numbers were awful. It had nothing to do with any change to what it is every other week. But this is what we do when we become unfit. And the great part is we've got the categories that are up and down for our races. But yeah, I got to the aquarium climb and the wheels fell off badly at that point.
Yeah, that's it. So the men, you guys were in Tel Marib.
Yeah.
So the Cat 4 men, let's make sure we get them out, and then we can talk about SRC in a bit more detail. So that was taken by a British guy, or Welsh guy, should I say. Tom Walker won that one. Francis Pino, second.
Yep.
Juan Lapera was third. Luis David da Silva, I'm guessing, was fourth. And JB Abello was fifth there as well. And he also picked up the climbers classification in there as well. Yeah. So you know my feelings about Tel Marib because it's, we've still not, have we classified that climb that's not a climb yet? In the middle of the two actual climbs that are classified?
No, we haven't. It's actually
ignored my petition for that.
I've got to be honest, I was dropped. I was about 5 or 6 minutes behind when we got to the first Tel Marib climb and I shut the game down. I couldn't get up there. I just couldn't do it. I thought I can't ride up this today. So anyway, that was the end of my
That was
race.
close. I mean, you've got the top 10 there still within a minute and 20 there as well. So that was super close racing.
It was. Look, it's fun. I quite like that circuit for the men. The men seem to race harder to that aquarium climb. And then you get that horrible climb in Liwa or whatever it's called before you head out to Tel Marie.
Yeah, Liwa Desert, yeah.
And that's just difficult. It's a tough little circuit, but to me it's not just that watts per kilo event that some of them can be on the longer climbs, which is great for the times that they're on. But yeah, it's a tough little one. But we can have a talk about SRC and what the future holds, if you like. Si, do we want to have a chat about that?
Yeah, I think we should. Yeah, it's one of the things that we discussed, and I know I recorded a couple of videos for you in the last couple of days as well. So maybe you want to give a bit of info of some of the things you're doing. So
we've spent a lot of time thinking, looking, working. What do we do with SRC? SRC's become its own thing now. It's big. It's a highly engaged community. But the races and the numbers are getting harder and harder and harder and harder. The circuits are quite often been the same for a little while. So I can make some announcements from January. There's some huge changes coming. Huge changes. We're actually going to have 6 categories for men and women.
Okay. Wow.
So the reasoning for that is a couple of things. I would like to make the racing closer. Certainly at the top. So Cat 1, if you take Cat 1 men and women, we tend to have about 15 to 18 that are competitive, depending on the circuit. And then we have a few that are sort of really battling to be there. Then Cat 2 becomes really big, and then Cat 3 big, and then Cat 4, some weeks is 60 riders. And there's nothing in it anymore unless, if you're not 4.1, 4.2 watts a kilo, you're going to struggle in Cat 4, right? Yep. You really are at the moment. Now, that was winning Cat 2 12 months ago. So I really want to bring in Cat 6 that is for the people out there that love their racing and can have a bit of fun and get out there and enjoy SRC rather than losing them. And then spread the categories out a little bit more, but tighten up the sort of gaps. Make some courses that sort of suit a few different style of riders, so the watts per kilo maybe are not as important. I've got some work to do there. We're going to pay the top 10 moving forward.
Oh, wow.
Yep.
That is a big change.
Yep.
So more categories.
More categories.
Pay out across more riders.
More riders. And we are looking at, now I haven't got this confirmed, but we will do top 7 teams monthly. Instead of just the top 5.
That's going to impact a lot of riders, actually. Just doing that on the teams aspect is going to mean a lot more people can...
a lot more people can be part of what we're doing. And the other big thing is, and I've been asked for this for the community, every single message I get off every single person for the last 18 months, prizes for sprints and KOMs.
Yeah. Yeah, we spoke about that before.
So there's going to be a prize for each of those. So lots and lots and lots of changes coming. A lot of work to do.
Those are huge changes, though. Yeah, they're going to make a big difference to the racing as well. Just that segment aspect is going to make a massive change as well.
Definitely. Yeah, definitely. So there's a bit of work to be done on how we categorize and how we do all that stuff in the next few weeks. There'll be a bit more communication go out. Everyone, please don't hold me exactly to the letter of the things that I've said, but the changes are coming. There's a new logo from the marketing team, so they've pitched in on this for us as well, which is great. We're really going to try to make it a bigger thing than it is today. Open it up to more people. Same in the ladies' side. Like, if you're not 2.9 to 3 watts a kilo, Cat 4 becomes a battle. And there's a lot of ladies out there that really enjoy their cycling that are not at that level. And I really want to engage them on our platform as well and have something out there. And I know some of the stuff that you've been looking to record and things, I think we'll look at doing some form of SRC community event with no verification and no prizes and have that either earlier in the day or maybe the Saturday afternoon before the event or something like that. So we really want to engage the community around it. I know it seems a long time coming, but we really wanted to run this to its capacity. We've got it to. We're there now. We need to move this forward, which the team here, not just me, the team's decided to do. We're ready to go. I think Cat 5's light blue jerseys and Cat 6 is going to be purple, so there's one for you. But yeah, I'd be interested to see how this goes. I hope that the community understand that this is not easy. and some of the negativity that we get surrounding all of this. Not everyone can win every week, but we're bringing this to make it a bit more available to people. But I think paying the top 10 makes it a lot better than it is today, especially for the non-finals. Because certainly if you're in an event where it's hard, where 5 people are going up the road, a lot of people are then just trying to get to the finish. And that's not great for... Yeah. It's not fun for the riders. It's not great for the racing. All of those things. So change is coming. I'm really excited about it. And yeah, that's sort of the big news without even all the stuff about the new releases this week.
Yeah, it's good. It's an evolution, Matt, and I think it's great that SRC has continued to develop, but it's evolving all the time. And I say those few things there. For people who don't know, I'm part of the events team, but I don't sit as part of the SRC team. So even for me, this is new stuff that I'm hearing. I know we'd spoke about putting on like a community SRC over the last couple of days, but for me that's genuinely exciting. And I think just from a spectator point of view as well, there's more riders going to want to be more competitive throughout the event, throughout the month, but also are you going to get people just chasing segments? And that might just add another dynamic to the racing. So I'm excited to see what happens with that in the new year. And like I say, I think because it's an evolution, I'm not going to hold you to everything you've said there, but it's great that we know, even if we get 50% of what you just said, 8% of what we just said, you just said there, then it'll be a great evolution. So watch this space. It sounds like Matt's and the team who look after SLC have got some things happening. But as you just alluded to there, Matt, it's obviously that time of the year or the month, however we put it, that 3.9.0 is on its way. Yep. I know this is one of the things you've been busy on. I've been testing it on the back end as well, which is really good. So maybe we want to talk about that because there was some really cool stuff, some really social stuff as well.
Yeah.
I actually, the thing that got me, I only downloaded it maybe 2 weeks ago to test at the back end was the UI looks very different.
Yeah, UI is different. And somehow with my travel and concentration on the World Championships and things like that, I actually didn't know it was happening. I turned it on a couple of weeks ago and I'm like, what's
this?
Here? But it looks cool. It's really good. I've really adjusted to it now. So yeah, really clean new UI. It's a bit more vibrant, a bit more aligned with, I think, the branding and some of our work that the marketing team do. So I'm super excited around that. So it's sort of UI of the home screen and the navigation. No changes in-game yet. So when you're riding it, it's all relatively the same. However, I can say I've seen some new versions of what may happen in there moving forward. So there's work being done on that as well at the moment. That's certainly not in 3.9, but that's certainly something the team is working on and a lot, just picking up a few of the things that can be improved on in there as well. But yeah, new UI, but this is really what I'm going to call a requests release, this one. So there's a big one coming for 4.0, and I can touch on some of that after this. But this is a real community-led one. So there's a couple of things we constantly get asked for on the Facebook MyWhoosh indoor cycling page or emails or everybody talks about. And the first one, I'll get it out of the way first, and that is rescheduling a workout. So finally, everybody, you can stop sending me a message. Yes, we know you can't reschedule a workout at this point in time, but we also have fixed that moving forward. So if it's from a workout that you've put in from our library or one of the training plans, you can now reschedule that. So you just click on it, drop it to the day that you want it to be, and it's there. Now, if you've imported them from Training Peaks, as usual, you have to change them in Training Peaks because Training Peaks is pushing those to us, okay?
Yep.
And your data won't sync properly and it'll all be a mess. So we've left those. You've got to log out, change your Training Peaks and log back in and they'll update like you do today. But all the other ones can be rescheduled. So that's a big one.
Just before you get on, though, I just want to highlight something because I built my first workout in MyWhoosh the other day.
Yep.
And it might sound crazy. I've been on it for well over a year now. Comfortably, maybe coming up to 2 years, I can't remember. But I used that workout builder, and I loved it. I'm like, why have I not seen this before? So because I needed an anaerobic workout done. I got something in my mind that I wanted to do that was like that I couldn't finish. I wanted to build something I couldn't finish. I'm not saying I've finished every workout in MyWhoosh because there's 700 of it. But that MyWhoosh, that builder is really, really good.
Yeah, I've used it a couple of times. There's been some talk in the team here that they want to actually just put that on a separate website as well to make it a bit easier for people. So I wouldn't be surprised if we do
that'd be
that
cool.
in
Like
the
a
future.
desktop version would be quite cool.
So
actually.
you can sit at your desk or whatever and do that stuff. So the
Yeah.
workout stuff we're really concentrating on. A large percentage of our users do workouts, so it's a real focus for the next 6 or 12 months, that area as well. But the other thing is the social aspect of the game. So people always ask about friend meetup. Okay, guess what, everybody? Friend meetup is here. So you're going to be able to see your friends. They're going to show in the top right-hand corner, I think it is, of the screen. You can click on that and you can join them in their free ride. You'll be teleported.
We'll see who's online somewhere.
Yep. It'll be up on the screen on the right-hand side. It'll also be in your link app. And you can click on that and you'll be, like you do with MyBunch 24/7, you have pedal assist and you're teleported to where they are and away you go. So that's a really, really big feature that requested from people. The other thing that's requested that aligns with that is the chat functionalities. So now you can do both a private and a global chat. So you and I can chat one-on-one now without everybody seeing our chat. So there's a real sense of community to be able to do that. You see your friends are on, jump on, have a roll with them, do that type of stuff. So there's been a lot of questions around that, and we've started. They were the two real big ones that we wanted.
And that's in 3.9.
That's in 3.9.
So the chat in screen in game will change.
Yep.
Okay.
Yeah. So it'll be in your in the nearby list, and you can click on that. So there's also a lot of changes in the link app as well for this one. So there's lots of bug fixes and those little things that we always do. We've worked hard on the Bluetooth connections as well. So hopefully we'll see some improvements on those connection issues that some people seem to have and others just don't. I get it every now and then, and yet I've got friends of mine that never have an issue with it. So we've changed some parameters. We've fixed some stuff up there.
Got you.
The link app, though, we definitely have got. You've got a nearby list in there now. There's the map. There's you meet your friend. There's all your data. There's all of those things in there. But I stress to people, use the link app as a link app. Don't use it as a bridge unless you have to. So the bridge setup in the link app was designed for SRC people using Apple TV.
Yeah.
It's not designed for everyday use. So
if you need that extra connection,
if you need the extra connection. Look, it works fine, but to me, I would stick to your native connections directly into the app and use the link app for communication, seeing what's going on, having a play around, that type of stuff. So there's some big changes in both the game socially and on the link app now for 3.9, which should be out this week.
That makes absolute sense, right? The only time I had a problem connection-wise was when I previously used the link app and everything here was like, I'm still connected to the link app, so I'm like, I can't find the connection again. But as soon as I disconnected everything in the link app, we're all good, right? So as long as your device isn't connected elsewhere. So I think progressing that link app into more of a social tool with the mini map and like a head unit in some way as well. That's how I've used it in the past.
Yeah, no, it's really good now. But just a pro tip, as they call it for people, if you're having connection issues, toggle onto our running connection and then come back into cycling. It kills all of any saved connections. Now, it doesn't fix every problem every time. Your heart rate monitor still might be connected to your Garmin app or whatever, and that'll cause an issue. But if you're having a few problems or you use many different devices like I do, in 2 weeks, I might use 10 different power meters and 6 different trainers and 4 different heart rate monitors messing around testing things. If you flick back to the running and then flick back into cycling, it kills any old connections you've got. So there's a pro tip for everybody out there in the application.
That's the way to do it. That makes complete sense. The other thing that I want to ask you is, because everyone gets excited about this, and I'm no different, is anything new in the garage this time? Have we got any new kit in there?
There's some new helmets that have come in from Met, but there's a whole list of things currently being worked on. We've got, I think there's about 12 new bikes lined up at the moment that are not in this one, but are coming soon. I know we've got some Oakley sunglasses. I've seen that floating around. Some new stuff from Chicon. There's some things coming.
You just have to take a walk up the aisle in the office, right? And if no one tells you, I guess you just got to peer at some of those developer screens to see what they're building.
Yeah, that's the only reason I know. I just look over their shoulder and see what they're building. So I know there's a really nice bike they're building from Giant. So that'll be nice when that comes in. So a few helmets only in the garage this time, but there's some changes with the garage coming in the near future as well.
Yeah, I guess with I know I saw some stuff because I work with the season pass team as well. So the next time the season pass comes around, which I guess is going to be early 2025, I've seen some of the stuff that they've been building for that, which looks pretty cool as well. So keep an eye out for that one for sure.
Yeah, definitely. So season pass isn't in this release. We wanted to really just bed down these community features that everybody's been asking for, and then there'll be a new world, which is Japan, coming out with season pass. Early January.
Yeah, so that'll be the 4.0 release, I guess.
No,
at
no,
some
that
point,
will
whatever
be.
it might be. No, is it not?
It'll just be season pass and world release.
Got you. Okay, that'll be exciting then as well.
And so
yeah, it's interesting. Yeah, go on.
Yeah, no, there's lots of things coming. I was just going to talk New Year now because it's probably close to our end of year podcast that we'll do, and the planning for next year is. I did a secret test today. I don't even think our management team knows we've developed this, but I tried.
Can you talk about it first?
Yeah,
are you allowed, or we're going to get this cut?
No, we'll do it. It's all right. I tested virtual shifting in the game today, so that's a huge requested feature. So it was 24 gears lined up in 53, 21 or something. They told me to go in, and it was clicking through them beautifully. So that's coming. 100% virtual shifting is coming, and that's probably our biggest requested item at the moment. So there's a big piece there. There's so many things coming. 4.0 will be more feature rich. Some new things that we probably haven't done before. Some different things. Some stuff for triathlon. But the 3.9 has really been about addressing those few community needs that we've been asked for time and time again. Building up the community. Getting ready for the Sunday Race Club changes. So obviously we need the extra categories and the functionality and stuff around that. So all that's in there, and it'll be exciting. We're good to go.
Well, I think you just reminded me of something else actually as well. Of one of the things I'm working on this next 2 weeks is the new event build from January onwards.
Yep.
So we've got some new events coming. The other thing we're going to be doing, because I've just noticed you finally sent me this the update list for 3.9. So I've just spotted a few things there which have reminded me. We're going to start doing some categorized events, but we need the community to help us out with this, right? So let's take that elimination race as a point. If it gets really popular, I mean, we got close to 50 riders this time. If that continues to grow, what we're going to do is we're going to have 2 events on. Then we might have 3. But event 1, or whatever we see on there, will be category 3.0 watts per kilogram and above.
Yep.
The next race will be 3.0 and below, for example. So in January, from January onwards, you're going to start to see some events. It's just a heads up to the community where you are going to start to see some power sort of guidelines where you should be there, just because we're getting more and more players on the platform as well. We want to keep racing fun, challenging and engaging from that point of view. So, and again, I did say this previously, but we need the community to help us at this point. So if you're getting into a race and you're getting to the end of the race and you've destroyed the field, and just push yourself up to the next one.
Yeah,
we need people to self-select at this point. But I think you've got some stuff coming as well, Matt, that might assist in the future, right?
Yeah, we've got some things in that space that we're going to do some sort of auto-categorization for the general community, not so much linked to SRC things. So the team have built that. I'm just messing around with it to get it exactly how I'd like it to work. But I tell you what is in 3.9, and it's only a small thing, but it's such a thing that makes life easier, is when you're in the premium event list. So when you're going into Sunday Race Club, and I don't know about you, first time it opens up, it shows the women's event first because that's the first one in timing, and it's still running when you go to log into the men's. And then you go to enter and it goes, I can't enter. And every week, and I've done 60 SRCs, and then I'm like, I've got to scroll to the next page. That now doesn't exist anymore. The only thing that appears in your premium event list is something you've been registered for. So that's a big win for me, so I don't panic every week and message the team, why am I not entered this week, guys? So, yeah, it's an easy fix for us.
It might just be me, right? But is this what I noticed yesterday, and this was just logging into the regular game when I was checking out the elimination, is that box on the right-hand side for premium events didn't exist. It really threw me yesterday because it's normally always there, because I can see everyone else's events. And I was like, has something changed here? Because the event banner for all the events was all the way across the screen. And I'm like, maybe that's something that they've already done. It just disappeared already.
Yeah, okay. No, I don't know about that one. I'll have to have a look. I haven't ridden it
So
today.
I guess if you're not entered in a Prem event or there's not a Prem event on, it just disappears on the right-hand side.
Yeah,
So,
right.
yeah, that'd be good. If you can make it relevant to me, I know there are
right.
some event organisers that might be useful. That
Definitely.
we could do that as well, because obviously we had James who organised the team time trials in the
Yes.
past, and the issue we had was there was
So
that
many
many
of them.
premium events. It was so difficult. So
Yep.
yeah, that helps with that. So hopefully we can get those team time trials back on now.
Yeah, hopefully we can. So yeah, they were great, but yeah, they were just causing a bit of a mess for people. So that's why we moved away from them. But yeah, that should hopefully fix that. So you'll only see what you're registered in.
Yeah, it's one of those little but significant quality of life updates, I think, which just make it more usable for everybody.
Definitely.
Hey, Matt, we really appreciate you coming back into the show. It's always exciting for me. I mean, it's exciting for the community, but it is genuinely exciting for me because, I get to learn some of these things as well because I'm not directly involved in some aspects of that team as well. So really great to have you back. I don't think we're going to get a chance to have you back now until the new year, looking at it as you've said. So wishing you and yours a great Christmas and New Year. You do know about the MyWhoosh 300 though, Matt, right?
I do. I actually might try to do it because I'm home alone at the moment. My family are in Australia, so this is why the cycling comeback is on. If I can do that 300 in that time online on the game, I get my head around 3.9. I get to see some people out there, some community. If people see me out there, have a chat, say g'day. I can't wait for the 300. It's Christmas to New Year, is that right? All on MyWhoosh free.
Yeah, 25th to the 1st it is. Yeah,
exactly.
exactly
And you get some gems or something, is that right? If you complete it.
Enough gems to buy the next season pass, in fact. So it's quite significant.
Yeah, so
it's quite significant. 150 gems or something, yeah.
I'll save myself a fortune doing that this time round. But no, look, I'm looking forward to that. But while I've got this opportunity and I've got some people out there listening to what we do, I just want to say thanks for what everybody's done. I know, this is not an easy thing to try to grow. It's not an easy thing to develop for the community. It's a lot of hard work goes behind the scenes, and we as a team, and I won't say me, but we've had a lot of support from our riders that are out there. Our community is growing and building, but so much of the growth that we have, and you talked about it before with the Colombian and the Polish league, and even James you had on last week, and these are people that have been around since day one, when we were getting 300 and 400 people a month on the platform. They're the same people that have been here since day one, and they're the same people that are helping to continue to support and grow and believing in MyWhoosh. So thank you to all them, but thank you to our new people. Thank you to everybody. Keep writing on. We love our MyWhoosh Indoor Cycling page. Phil does a great job of some of his responses there when you get him in a good mood. Post stuff up there. Tell us what we're doing, good, bad, and indifferent. We'll listen, and we'll keep pushing forward.
Yeah, absolutely. Look out for those new SRC events in the new year. Matt, thank you very much. And thank you for the community, again, to sticking with the podcast. Keep listening to us and your feedback as well. Don't forget, we've got Lisa coming back on as well, but we've also got Zach Neer. So if you've got questions for Coach Zach, whatever it might be, strength training, that's my next one that I've got to ask him about as well. Strength training as we get to the other side of winter. Then drop those through to myself, Zach, member of the MyWhoosh team. Hashtag Inside the Ride on those social channels. And we'll see you back for episode 17 of Inside the Ride by MyWhoosh.
On this journey we'll guide inside the ride where we fly. Virtual roads touch the sky. Join us here, don't be shy.